Is it justice? Revenge? Honor? No. It is power. We felt your deeds. Felt their shockwaves ripple through the void. You have our attention. Now you must keep it. Your limits will be tested. The stars themselves will bear silent witness. How far will you bend before you break?
What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention. A fellow exile. One more fool under Zana's sway. Allow me to destroy you before she has a chance to betray you, too. At least, my way will be quick. You slew my friends! You brought ruin to my world! You have invaded my very sanctum. I should be furious, and yet I feel nothing. Destroying you is as easy as flicking a pest. Did you really think this would work? I transcended all this long ago. Feel the thrill of
the void. Why run? What's the point? Your lives are meaningless. Watch UP crumble.
Yo guys, what is up? Dante here, and in this little video I'll be explaining to you my current build that I am playing. I haven't done a guide in a while, so I apologize for that, but with that being said, let's just get right into it. So the build that I'm currently playing right now, and the video teaser you saw previously, or if you didn't, go check out my channel. It's like the last video I posted. It is Storm Call Occultist. Now Storm Call is in a pretty off meta skill, like not a lot of people are playing it, and there are a few reasons for it. The first reason is that it needs a lot of investment to get good damage out of it. As you can see in my gear, which we'll go over in detail in just a second, it is not cheap. So with that being said, the build is definitely not cheap. Right, so without too much stalling, let's get right into it. So we are playing as a Occultist Ascendancy. I am level 98 right now, but this build is really fun. I think it's probably my favorite build of the league. It's probably even better than the Transcendency Pathfinder that I played earlier. But yeah, so Occultist CI with Incandescent Heart. Now the synergy between this, right? Because if you go CI, it's Chaos Inoculation right here. So maximum life becomes 1, immune to chaos damage, right? This goes very well with Incandescent Heart because like the line that says over there, 25% of elemental damage from hits is taken as chaos. So basically, if you get hit by, let's say, 100 ele damage, like 25% of that is automatically mitigated into chaos, which you are immune to. So it automatically is like a huge survivability increase, right? So that is the reason of the chest. Plus you gain like percentage damage, elemental damage as extra chaos. Now I have 18 roll, which is pretty good. And yeah, the life doesn't do anything for us. The increased armor and energy shield is really good as well, almost perfectly rolled. Now I did get lucky and I bought this +3 for, let me just put up my macro real quick. I bought this +3 for like 42 divines, I think. But now I think they're much more expensive, 90 and 170. Okay, so they are fairly expensive, but you don't really need a +3. You can get like a +2 or a +1. So yeah, that is the reason of the chest piece. The best in slot helmet for this build is obviously Crown of the Inward Eye with the +1 corruption. Now the most important part is absolutely getting the reduced Storm Call duration enchant, because the way the Storm Call works, right, you cast it and then it has a delay or a duration until it actually hits the ground. Now the idea of the build is to actually get it to as low as possible, so you don't lose a lot of time, you know, and try and get yourself killed or something. So you can see my duration is 0.3 seconds. It's pretty good. So because we have very high cast speed and very high AoE, the damage overlaps a lot, and that's why you have like so much damage, right? Because it's not like one hit, it's actually 5 hits. You get the one here, one there, one there, one there, and one there, and they all overlap, and that's why you get so much damage. Right, so going back to the gear, for the scepter, definitely a +2 scepter is the best in slot weapon. The way I crafted this is not easy and not cheap either. I bought the Fractured +1 lightning spell skill gems, and I basically chaos spammed until I got +1. Or you can do like essence spam essences of woe until you hit the +1 and stuff like that. But yeah, if you decide to craft this scepter, ideally you want a fractured +1 all, because then you cannot roll attack mods and augment lightning, and it guarantees the +1 to spells. +1 spell skill gems. But wait, no, you actually can get spell damage. So yeah, it's very complicated. You can do this 100%. You get the +1 lightning. You do essences of woe until you get the +1 all spell skill gems, or you can do like cast speed essences until you get an open suffix, an open prefix, and the +1. It's your choice, and then you do a prefix cannot be changed and ashling, and hopefully get lightning damage or spell damage or something. Probably the best thing would be to get elemental damage and 10% of Ellie as extra chaos damage. That would probably be the best one. Like, my scepter is not done. I still have an extra suffix yet. I'm still trying to get the courage to augment caster to get crit chance for spells. So we talked about the chest, the helmet. The shield is a Aegis. Now mine has a corruption. Phys taken as cold. Ideally it would be Phys taken as chaos, but they were not on the market when with the additional corruption grants level 23 discipline skill. This build is very socket starved. Like, everything here has a reason for being there. I could say that I would even try to min-max it further and free up a gem slot and do some increased duration on Molten Shell or something. But I'm not gonna do that. The build is fine as is right now. For the amulet is Ashes of the Stars, because we're using that version of Storm Call, and we're gonna boost the quality of that bad boy really high. The version of Storm Call has reduced skill effect duration, and combined with Ashes, it just goes from 10% skill effect duration to 24%. Massive. Right, for the ring, I have an onslaught ring with a bunch of attributes and cast speed. The thing you want on your rare items, if you have a Major Blood, is high ES, high int, high cast speed, and crit multi. Now, I spammed essences of cast speed. I don't remember the name of them, but you spam essences until you want to hit like T1 in and T1 energy shield. I actually got T1 in and T2 all attributes, which I was very happy with, and then I did suffixes cannot be changed, reforge defense, and I got the T1 energy shield. For the other ring, same story here. I bought the Crusader Influence ring, hoping to get damage against shocked enemies, because that would have been a massive damage upgrade, but I got T1 cast speed, and then I also got T1 energy shield, and then I did a suffix cannot be changed, ashling, and I got the dex and int mod, which I was happy with, and then I'm YOLO slammed a life gained per enemy hit with spells. This can work if you spec into Zealot's Oath, I think. No, that's life regen. What is it? Anyway, yeah, that doesn't work right now, but it's a dead mod, but it's got resale value. For the gloves, I am using a Algor Mortis. Algor Mortis is so underrated, and it's so freaking strong right now. Basically, enemies in your chilling areas take 25 to 30% increased lightning damage. Plus, you got the increased effect of non-damaging elements, and you sap. You have a high chance of sapping enemies in chilling area. Basically, what sap is, enemies deal less damage, straight up, less damage, which again gives you a massive survivability boost, and it's got also high amount of flat energy shield. Now, I bought the corrupted one with cast speed and elemental weakness. There's not on the market right now, the league, but you can get like elemental weakness +1, and then your enlighten gets another level is gonna help you with the reservation, stuff like that. But yeah, that's why I got Algor Mortis. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do you chill? We're gonna get into the gem section in a second, okay? For the boots, I bought the max roll percent increased ES base, and I spammed chance to avoid elemental ailments essence until I got T1 energy shield, and then I did suffixes cannot be changed, and I did Ashling, and I got the movement speed. Now when you do Ashling, there's a 50-50. You can either get a prefix or a suffix. To have a higher chance of getting a prefix, you can have 2 suffixes and then do prefix cannot be changed and then Ashling. You can still get a suffix and then fill the suffixes, but they can be easily removed with Eldritch Currency. So I got 28% chance to avoid elements on my implicit. I got 31 over there, plus the tree and stuff like that. And we're element immune, as you can see here. Ignite, freeze, avoidance, immune to shock. Yes, because we have power charges. And yeah. So basically, the moral of the story is buy a fracture base and spam essences until you get something that you're happy with. I have brittle ground enchant also because on single target you want to do like a few laps around them, get a little bit of brittle ground, and then you have a higher chance of critting. For the build, I'm using a Mage Blood with area of effect while affected by Arcane Surge. And for my flask, I'm using a Ball of Fate with increased damage, mistake increased damage and stuff like that. Armor, immune to bleeding, additional elemental resistances, and reduced mana cost of skills enchant. If you do not have a Mage Blood, you can roll flasks that have this mod right here. Where is it? Let me see if I have a flask. Basically, yeah, 35% chance to gain a flasher when the Electrical Strike. Now, because you're gonna have a high crit chance, you can almost have permanent uptime on these flasks. So it's kind of like a pseudo Mage Blood, but with less effect. Also, if you do not have a Mage Blood, you can try to roll your rings and belt, and also the boots for higher elemental resistances. Just don't do double attributes or something like that and get resistances. All right, so for the gems, the main damage dealer is obviously, like I said, Divergent Storm Call, which gives you reduced skill effect duration on the alternate quality. We're using an Empower, which goes really well with the +1. It basically goes to a level 5, giving us another 4 levels to this. And we also use Awaken Spell Cascade, Awaken Spell Echo, Anomalous Inspiration for even more crit chance, and Power Charge on crit to generate power charges, right? Because even if you would take the Ascendancy, gain a power charge, spending a total of 200 mana, with a mana cost of 1 on Storm Call, we are never going to be able to generate enough power charges to be consistent. So that's your main damage dealer right there. That's why Awaken Spell Cascade makes like additional 4 targets. If I remove this, just goes like this. Feels a little bit clunkier, but once you get this in, it just feels a lot better. And indeed, these are very expensive right now. In my helmet, I'm using a blessing support, the Divergent Divine Blessing with Anomalous Wrath, Anomalous Increased Duration, and Divergent Inspiration, all to reduce the mana cost of Wrath to 0, so we can have 100% uptime of it. There's another thing to reduce mana cost, which I'll show you soon, combined with the flask. In my set, I have my movement ability, Lightning Warp with less duration, and faster casting, basically allowing us to zoom through the map. Like, I'm zooming so fast that my game's having a hard time keeping up. In the gloves, I'm using Determination, Anomalous Zealotry for more damage, Divergent Temper Shield for higher block chance, and an Align 4 because, yeah, I don't have a +1. Even if I had a +1 Allegro Mortis, I would still go for Enlighten 4 and then not use an Enlighten the shield. Speaking of the shield, in here I have Herald of Thunder, Defiance Bandit, and an Enlighten 3. So in a total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 auras. So we got Herald of Thunder, Determination, Zealotry, Defiance Banner, Temper Shield, Discipline. Discipline is granted by Aegis and is not affected, unfortunately, by the Enlighten socketed in the shield itself. Plus, combined with Wrath, that's a total of 7 auras. In the boots, I have Righteous Fire. You do not need Val Righteous Fire. Why is this here? Yeah, you need Val Righteous Fire because you cannot sustain Righteous Fire because you got 1 HP, and basically Righteous Fire will deal damage to you until you have 1 HP, so it doesn't work. So you only use the Val part for single target bosses. Also here we have Molten Shell, basically a damage mitigation source. Frost Shield, this is how you get chill on enemies. Enemies that are here are gonna get chilled, synergizing perfectly with your Allegro Mortis and giving you a high chance to sap them and give you an increase in damage. So everything works out really, really well and synergizing together really, really well. Also, we have Anomalous Assassin's Mark for another damage, which unfortunately I do have to self-cast. Now, if I had a +1 Allegro Mortis, I probably wouldn't need the Enlighten 3, but I'm not too sure about that. But or have some corrupted jewels for Armour, then I would definitely probably do a mark on hit, so I have less buttons to push. All right, so that's about the gems and the Storm Call. Now let's get into the jewels. Oh boy, where do we start here? Okay, so for the jewels, we have a Militant Faith here with reduced mana cost of skills per 10 devotion and 1% increased effect of non-curse auras. If you do not have a Mage Blood to help you with 25% reduced mana cost of skills during Flask effect and increased effect, then you highly need this reduced mana cost of skills. For me, for example, if I remove this, my Wrath is still free, but my Storm Call has a cost of 8 mana. I can still sustain it, but if you do like less recovery, then it's gonna feel a little clunky, right? So you want this, and it has to be under Dominus to give you the Inner Conviction Keystone. Also, you want to use the POB. I mean, look for this jewel, right? Dominus, this mana cost of skills, increased effect of non-curse auras. See how many are on the market, and then copy them in POB. And make sure you do not have something on Nimbleness. You want Nimbleness to give you only devotion and nothing else, because then you lose a lot of cast speed and a lot of crit multi. So you don't want this to be replaced by something given by the Militant Faith. All right, moving on. Over here we have a Thread of Hope, large, and we allocate a lot of nodes here. We got Static Blows, which gives you duration of lightning elements, increased effect of lightning elements, increased damage if you shocked enemy recently, which you do all the time. You got decent chunk of ES over here, more ES, AoE, lightning damage, cast speed with lightning skills, very important, and cast speed more, and mana regeneration. So this is really good, really good Thread of Hope. Moving on to the next jewel, we'll have a combo of Forbidden Flesh and Forbidden Flame that allocate Heart of Destruction from the Elementalist Ascendancy. These are also pretty expensive. They dropped in price actually, look at 35. I bought this for like 42. So they dropped in price, which is good. And this one should be pretty cheap, I think. Yeah, like 3 divines, 3.5. All right, so for the medium cluster, all my medium cluster are Vast Power and Magnifier, and got like, I'm trying to get int and missing attributes like strength and stuff like that, strength and int. And yeah, if you don't have a Mage Blood with additional elemental resistances, this is another great place to get more resistances. Also are the large clusters. For the large cluster, I'm using Snowstorm, Storm Drinker, and Widespread Destruction. Storm Drinker is for the pen and lightning damage leads to its energy shield. Widespread Destruction, pure damage and AoE, which is good. Same over here, Snowstorm and Widespread Destruction. Snowstorm is actually really good as well, as a decent chunk of damage, but I chose not to do it because I went for a small cluster over here with increased mana reservation efficiency of skills, 35% increased effect, and strength, because this build needs some strength to work, right? Especially with determination, which needs how much? 155 strength. For my Watcher's Eye, I'm using a Arcane Surge when you create consecrated ground while affected by zealotry, which is up 99% of the time. And also the energy shield gained for each enemy hit. We got such a big AoE, and you just hit a boatload of enemies. Really good for survivability, mapping, bossing, everything. Just a really good all-around Watcher's Eye. Again, I went for the Arcane Surge because I have no more gem slots to socket an Arcane Surge to something. And it's also really, really convenient and high quality of life way to get Arcane Surge. All right, over here we have a Impossible Escape, which allocates Magebane. I mean, next to Magebane. And over here we take the reduced skill effect duration on the tree, these 3 points right here. And yeah, that's pretty good. It reduces the duration of Storm Call by quite a bit. And yeah, highly recommend it. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? That's about it, I think, for the gems, for the jewels. Yeah. All right, pretty cookie cutter tree. I was speccing into the power charges, a lot of defense, auto reservation, crit chance, crit multi. Oh, over here, you get the additional 20% chance to avoid the ailments, so you can be ailment immune with the boots. Discipline has increased mana reservation efficiency, very important. And 3% increased damage per endurance frenzy or power charge. We got like 8 power charges. I would love to get endurance charges in the build, but it's a bit too complicated and I don't have the points for it. And if I wanted to min-max the build, I would probably get a 3 passive voices and use a Megalomaniac, but that's all up to you. For me, for my playstyle right now in the content that I'm doing, this is just fine. What else? Over here, increased damage for each aura or herald affecting you. And that's about it. Not too much fancy stuff going on in the tree. But yeah, good enough for high survivability and high damage. Okay, so we went over the gear, the gems, the flasks, the jewels, the tree. Okay, let's hop in the POB real quick. I did a fresh import right here. Let's go over the configuration right now. So my Pantheon is Solo, Solaris, and Tukuhama, because Solaris is good physical damage reduction and take no extra damage from crits if you've taken a crit recently, which is really, really good. And Tukuhama, while stationary, gain 3% physical damage reduction every second up to 9%. The regen, you don't really need it, but who knows. Because the build is very stationary, like you don't move while you cast, that additional Phys damage reduction stacks up quite a bit. Power charges, obviously, all the time, not 8 of them. Onslaught, yes, from the ring. Consecrated ground, yes, from zealotry and the Ball of Fate. Have you shocked enemy recently? Absolutely. Do you have convergence? Yes, most of the time. Frost Shield stages 4, because we're not moving out of it and the boss is not moving out of it either. This is my relic, by the way, which I totally forgot. My relic has glancing blows, lightning damage, and crit multi for spells. Nothing too fancy. Right, POB, here we go. And enemy is chilled, yes, from the Frost Shield. Enemy is brittle, yes, from the boots. Enemy is shocked, yes, from Storm Call. Effect of shock, we get consistent 50% shocks. Is the enemy sapped? Yes, from Algor Mortis we get consistent 20% saps. Enemy on consecrated ground? Yes, from Zealotry and Ball of Fate if he's nearby. Enemy in chilling area? Yes, from Frost Shield. Is the enemy in the Frost Shield area? Yes. Okay, so with all of that combined and the way that Storm Call overlaps, I did a level 1 Arcane Surge here to simulate the Watcher's Eye. Right? So, yeah, that's about it. Let's see, anything that I missed? Not really. All right, I put in the main skill here. As you can see, Storm Call is level 31. And I put a manual count of 5 in here because, again, they overlap. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overlaps. So you basically get 5 Storm Call hits when a boss. Keep in mind that the area of effect is even higher when you have Arcane Surge because of the belt enchant. Even if you don't have a Mage Blood, try and get a Stygian of Eyes or something with this enchant because it's gonna do wonders while mapping and on bossing. Trust me. Guaranteed all of the 5 overlapping, giving you like 5 hits, which sums up to 71 million damage on Guardian and Pinnacle bosses. And if you want to go Ubers, there's like 21 million damage. And you still get like 465k effective hit pool and like 1.5 million on non-Ubers. So I also did put the ideal flask here that I'm not currently using, but I will once I get bleed immunity. It is a ruby flask with increased cast speed. This is probably the biggest damage output that you can get. Like, this is my current one. What is it? Yeah, okay, so you get 62 million damage, and then you put this, boom, 71. Big damage. Big damage. All right, so that is about it. Yeah, so yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys found this build interesting. Again, I know it's expensive and I know it's hard to replicate, but it's been so much fun, and some of the people on the previous video asked me to make a guide about it, so this is about it. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. If I missed anything, I am sorry. Please let me know in the comments. It's been a while since I did the guide. This is gonna be scuffed as hell. But yeah, thank you guys very much for taking your time and watching this. I do appreciate it. And if you like the content, please drop a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.